I promised you part two of my words and phrases no pro-freedom Americans should say, and here it is. Folks, the left is rewriting our history and our language. Too often, Republicans seem more than willing to help them by adopting their lexicon. Here are a few more terms that should be stricken from our public discourse through the exercise of discipline and common sense. You can't protect American freedom or beat the left by speaking their language. All right, a lot of talk this week about abortion and abortion pills this week, and a lot of criticism about the pro-life movement not really having a consistent message. In fairness, few Republicans use this one, reproductive health, but it warrants inclusion because it is the sanitized way of talking about abortion, and it should be viewed as an affront to all women. The Democrats view abortion as health care. It is not health care. Abortion is the destruction of a human life under the guise of a fictitious right to terminate the life of another person. Now, many Americans disagree about when human rights attach to an unborn child, but given that as of 2020, only about 1% of all abortions performed in the United States are performed to protect the life of the mother, the use of this term as a catch-all is deliberately deceptive. Killing a human baby is what it is, and using sterile terms to describe abortion disrespects both the mother and the child. All right, the next one, criminal justice reform. Anyone who lives in a state where some Soros or Zuckerberg-backed district attorney has helped create a crime wave knows that this term now means prioritizing criminals at the expense of the innocent. Everywhere the left's brand of criminal justice reform has been attempted, it has failed spectacularly and with deadly results. Policies like no cash bail eliminate judicial discretion and are a direct attack on the American justice system. Selective prosecution or downgrading offenses to keep criminals out of jail has led to outright lawlessness. There are common sense reform efforts like making education and mental health support more available to help prevent recidivism, but the term is now synonymous with policies that reduce or eliminate penalties for hundreds of crimes. Our conversation today must refocus on public safety rather than so-called criminal justice reforms. All right, the next one, fair share. Isn't fairness great? Of course, everybody wants to be treated fairly, especially if they're the ones who get to decide what is fair and what is not. Fairness is used by the left to justify a whole range of changes to public policy and our way of life, perhaps none more than wealth transfers from people who work to those who don't, and the ever-expanding bureaucracy that controls those resources. Whenever you hear fair share, watch out for your wallet, especially if you're in the middle class. The left's goal is to shower you with so much fairness that you'll end up dependent on government with no personal or economic freedom to worry about. How about that? The arbiters of the American lexicon, to them, fairness is like equity and inclusion. It doesn't actually really mean anything except handing more of what's rightfully yours to government. Republicans should know it is not grounded in the American formula for greatness. All right. So this next one, 420, the nation's unofficial pot holiday, is coming up this week, so we include this one. The left has tried to even redefine recreation, folks. Going on a hike is recreation. Playing basketball is recreation. Popping 50% THC-laced gummy bears so that you can be stoned off your rear end while you're at work or school is not recreation. Marketers of Big Pot found a brilliant way to equate doing drugs that cause a decrease in IQ, psychosis, depression, impairment of motor skills, and other negative side effects with things like exercise. You'd never suggest that getting drunk is the equivalent to recreation, but suddenly even Republicans are embracing consumption of high-potency THC products as something as harmless as playing a round of golf. The whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. Americans need to wake up to the fact that not only are legal drugs becoming big business, the communist Chinese are also investing heavily to ensure as many people as possible are drug addled. Call it what it is, folks, addiction for profit, not recreational marijuana. All right, and finally, investment. This one is an oldie but goodie for the left. Whenever you hear the word investment, it means more of your money is being transferred to government and more spending that we can't afford. The government already invests in too much, it does too much, and it does it all in the most inefficient, ineffective way possible. The return Americans see on their so-called investment in government continues to plummet, and it's a sham. Republicans should have the courage to refocus spending to our top priorities and create efficiencies so that Americans can invest more in themselves rather than in government. Invest in finding ways to do more with less of our money. Stop trying to con people into thinking that government can spend its way to the solution of any problem. All right, there you have it, folks. If you have a suggestion for maybe a part 3 we may do, find me on Twitter at Tom_Basile. All right.